Oh man, these batteries are always heavier than I think they're gonna end up being. Hey, what's happening guys? Mike Moo here. Today, I had just received the Zendure SuperBase. It's called the Zendure SuperBase Pro. That's it. It's been that long. I backed this, it feels like over about a year ago, and they are, let's just say they're almost a whole year in delays in terms of delivering it, but it finally came here and I'm happy to be the first one on YouTube. That is not sponsored. This is completely backed it all on my own off of Indiegogo, and I believe this is the very first video about the SuperBase Pro 1500 portable power pack. All right, now if you are waiting for yours, this actually comes not from a company name. The one that got shipped to me was actually a civilian's name, and it just shipped out from LA. Okay, so that's basically how I got it. Now, the weight is roughly about 50 pounds, so it's pretty heavy. Feels like it's more than 50 pounds, but maybe I am just getting a little old. All right, so this giant box here, ooh, this is actually, this has got to be more than 50 pounds. I'm just gonna try to move this upside down. Now, the SuperBase Pro 1500 is one of the two models that they have. I'm gonna flip this right side up now. And that is because the 2000 has a different battery chemistry altogether that is actually used by a bunch of car vehicles. Okay, so vehicles that use special batteries because it's a little bit more dense. However, I went for the 1500, and that is because the 1500 has lithium phosphate batteries. I believe they're about the same price, actually. I'll have a link down below on this if you're interested. And the main thing that I wanted was just to ensure that the battery pack is going to last as long as I could possibly get it for. And lithium phosphate, it claims to have 6,000 cycles, but you know, your minimum you're going to get about 3,000 according to the technologies that everybody is talking about with lithium phosphate. So I love lithium phosphate batteries. They're just a bit bulkier. Hence, you get 25% more capacity, I believe, with the Pro 2000. Okay. All right, so the SuperBase Pro, I think this is made in China, of course, but I think it was a Cantonese company. I think they have, obviously they have offices here in the United States, but yeah, I think it's going to be available for sale relatively soon. Okay, so opening the box now. Now you might be wondering, why am I getting yet another battery pack? Well, because I love battery packs, and I tend to go through a lot of them. So I'm gonna see about getting this out carefully. There's a handle up top, but keep in mind this is 50 some pounds, so I'm just gonna take this out like here. Whoosh! That is it. And inside the box, we also have this little packet. Ooh, I like that they give a little case for it. This must be all the charging supplies and cables that it comes with. And down here, the rest of this is just nice packaging. So it's very well packaged, very well cushioned, and it is double boxed. So I am happy about that. All right, first, this is, all right, let's take a look at this case right here. This case says Zendure on it. This is my second battery pack that I purchased from Zendure. I didn't have really great experiences with some of their other ones, but you know, the replacements have worked out fine. We have a standard Molex connector, and this is basically the same as the type that you will find on a lot of power supplies these days, particularly for desktop computers. We have an XT60 connector and MC4 connectors down below. So we have two of these right here, and this goes from MC4 to XT60. And this is, you know, pretty long. Okay, so I like that they added a bit of length on here, and look at the thickness of this cable. Thickness of this cable signifies that you're going to get a lot of power coming through here, which is really good because this guy can charge from 0 to 80% in like, I believe in an hour, which is fantastic. The only other battery pack that can potentially do that I have is the EcoFlow series, but the ones that I have don't have lithium phosphate on it. All right, so we got MC4. Oh, this is interesting. This is the first one that I've seen that has MC4 connectors on one end and a Molex connector on the other side. This is the very first of its kind, and that is because they have special MPPT controllers in here. I believe there's 2 different sets of it to control how the power comes in. We got a little bit of a user guide in here, and looks like we have a USB-C to a USB-A type connector. And that's because if you look in the front here, and we'll get a little bit more closer to the front of the unit, you will see that it does not have USB-A connectors at all. It only has USB-C. So they are really looking forward. They're really forward-looking in terms of the design of this. Honestly, I do wish that they included USB-A in QC capacity, in QC3 or whatever latest QC that is available, but it is all USB-A. And each of these USB-C connectors will put out, I believe, up to 100 watts. Yep, 100 watts, 100 watts, and we have 20 watt ones, which is fantastic because if you have a USB-C to lightning connector, you're going to want to use USB-C to lightning connector at 20 watts. That's going to give you the most amount of power. So I love that, at least for now. But having two USB-C 100 watt power outputs, these are outputs only, by the way, is going to be very useful for just about everyone. Okay, I use a MacBook. I can power 2 straight up MacBook Pros and edit on a go if I so choose to. And then we have 3 different DC jacks together combined at 136 watts. Now, I'm looking on the camera right now and seeing this in person, I can see that there are markings all around here. It's smooth, okay? But just this whole process here, this is not, it does not look smooth. There are definitely ridges on here. And I think that is I think that's a cost-saving feature. Looks like I have a little scratch here. That's no big deal. But yeah, it's, excuse me, yeah, it's ABS plastic. Feels rugged enough. They even claim on the videos that you can get on top of this. I'm going to put 170 pounds. Okay, 170 some pounds on here, no problem. Passes the creaking test. I love that they have this handle on here. However, the top surface is not completely flat, so you're not going to be able to really be attaching anything really. You're not going to be stacking stuff on here. And this does not go all the way in. That would have been really cool if it did, but it's just basically like a luggage thing. I love that because this is a 50 some pound battery pack. It's great to have wheels. It's the first one. I don't know why the other ones don't have wheels on them, but this is the first one that I've tested that actually wheels kind of like a cooler. Looks like they designed the wheels to be replaceable, but they seem pretty sturdy enough. So I like that. It's about usability. Good handle, luggage thing to move it around. And we have 6 AC power ports out at 120 watts each, plus 1 cigarette lighter adapter plug out here. I wish that they gave me more. That would have been nice because, you know, when you're on the road, you tend to use a lot of DC jacks out here, but you can easily get adapters for each of these and power more things as necessary. Now, if we go over to this side, you can see the inputs are over here. I don't know if I care so much about this particular type of door. I have snapped off a couple of these from EcoFlow just from using it, and I guess it's fine that they have it, but I have a feeling it's just gonna fall right out. We have a ground. That's something relatively new that I haven't seen in a lot of other battery packs, and we have a 100 to 120 volt port right here. This is where you charge from the wall outlet. We have a 60 volt 10 amp max input, and this is for the solar. Actually, both of these could be used for the solar. And then we have a 20 amp max output protection in terms of a fuse, okay, in case something happens in here. Now look at this. This almost makes it look like it's scratched up, but it's not. I think this is really just a cost-saving maneuver for them to produce something that does not look perfect looking. In the back we have nothing. Basically they put ridges on here to make it look like kind of a little bit of a suitcase. But yeah, that is pretty much it. There's some details up here from Zendure about the unit. And then in the front, well, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna power this up and see what we got here. Oh, one very unique thing about this unit is that it has built-in 4G. It's got a built-in 4G capable cellular thing. And with your purchase right now, you get 1 year of service subscription. And with that, you can remotely control your battery pack from anywhere in the world. And also, if your battery does get stolen with the 4G connectivity, they can probably track it, lock it down, or do some things with it. I don't know. This is so new. We haven't seen what's going on with it yet. This is a touch type of thing. And I don't know how I feel about that. It looks like it's touch, but it's one of those things where there's little buttons that indent in here a little bit. So I'm going to press that, power it on, see what happens. Okay. There's a little green light that comes down here. I see it's kind of reflecting here. Came with 71% capacity. It gives you a rundown how many minutes of power that's left when you are using it or however output that you have. And this is to connect with the app, the Zendure app, which I'm going to download and try. And this is the DC on and off, I believe. Yeah, create this little beep here. We'll have to check out the app. And then this thing over here is also for the AC. Now I'm a little bit, okay, so I just powered on AC and a fan comes on. I hear the fan. Okay, it's a little soft right now, but it definitely has built-in cooling. These are all things, first impressions that I'm having on here. I actually knew about a lot of these details when I first backed this, but you never know exactly what you're going to get when you back something on a crowdfunding campaign. So anyways, I hear a fan moving. I feel the airflow coming in through here. So it's coming in from this side, coming out that side. It's going to try to keep things cool. And that's pretty much it. That's all the buttons on here. I think a lot of the special connectivity and firmwares and everything will come in through the app, and I hope they do a good job like EcoFlow does. EcoFlow does a pretty good job with their app, and I'm very happy with it. But with the exception that this is now, okay, so power on, power off. It's just a button press. You can see there's a fan indicator over here. I do hope that you can turn off the beeps, because if you see a lot of my videos, I'm not happy about the beeping situation in most cases. And I'm going to take this power over here and attempt to charge directly from my AC jack over here. I'm going to take this, plug this in here. I'm going to run this AC jack to the closest jack I have down here. We'll see how fast we're charging it. I remember it's super duper fast, so this is going to be ideal. I'm probably going to just keep this in the car as a replacement for the battery packs that I used to travel around with. This will power, what I'm hoping is on the go is just power the fridge in the car and power security systems also. And very importantly, for any IT nerds or geeks out there, this actually functions as a full-on UPS. It's not the quasi-UPS that you get with some of the EcoFlow units. If power is completely out, this will jump in and take over. I hear it spinning up right now as it's charging. Let's see on the screen. On the screen, we don't have any indication what's going on right now. So, even though I have this plugged in and it is charging, it's not letting me know what the input is in at all. Well, that's a shame, because clearly something's happening. The fan is gearing up right now, and it's not showing my input. All right, there we go. It's definitely power here, and I'm plugging this in here. Let's see what we get here. Let us see what kind of situation I get. Nothing. It doesn't say any input whatsoever. You know what? Maybe I need to read the user manual and guide to figure out what's going on. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It started up. I don't know what was going on. Wow, wow, wow. We are now at charging at 1642 watts. You hear the fan running? That is pretty on full blast. It's not quiet. If I want to say the sound sounds a little bit like a PC running under load, running under heavy load where you have it ramped up. It's not super loud. Probably wouldn't be as loud when it's on the floor, but that power in terms of the charge is going at 1605 watts right now. So this will charge it up super quick. That's cool. That is cool. All right, next up, I'm gonna plug in my MacBook here into the output and turn on the DC jack. It's the DC, oh, the PD's already out. Okay, so detected it already. Doesn't look like I actually have to turn DC on. No, the DC does not control the outputs down here at all. DC is specifically for this and also the cigarette lighter so far, at least as it comes out of the box. So I'm not pulling that many watts out here because my MacBook is already pretty much charged. But wow, recharge time, take 1.5 hours to do the last 20% on the battery pack actually. Last 20% takes an hour, so if you're doing a full charge from 0 to 100, it's gonna be 2 hours. 1 hour to get 80% and 1 hour left to do the final trickle charge to the very end. Okay, I'm just gonna let this run. I'm gonna let this run and I'll talk a little bit more about it after it's fully charged. I like that it's up to date and gives you remaining charge time even down to the minute, so you know exactly when it's gonna hit that 100% mark. Still, at the same time, I kind of wish I knew what happened earlier when I plugged in and why it didn't start charging right away. Whether it's doing a self-test or something, I'm not sure. So as my unit is actually charging right now, as you can see, I'm going to start downloading the app and get it all set up. And it's just the Zendure app. Looks like in registration, I have to go ahead and add on a bunch of my information here. So, which is basically what region you're from, password, email, username that you want, and password. All right. And I need to get a verification code. I got to read the Zendure policy, a bunch of stuff. It's a multi-step type of operation going on over here. So they send a verification code, which I guess I should get via email, hopefully pretty quickly. But I haven't received it yet. Let's see what I get. I guess this is the most annoying part about this whole thing with the IoT. I guess you don't necessarily need it. Obviously, you could use it directly out of the box, but if you want to get firmware updates, you want to access the thing that you're kind of already paying for, even though it's complimentary for 1 year, you're going to want to access it and connect it to your phone and to an account that then you can control online. Now, it's giving me a countdown to enter in the code. Unfortunately, I have not received the code yet, and the countdown timer is almost done. I've got like 42 seconds left. Where is the code? Where is the code? Where's the verification code? Is it going to come in time? I don't know. You know what? I'm going to have to check. I'll check my full-on spam bin with my MacBook here. See what I get. If you can't hear the fan, what I hear on a fan as it's charging here on this this tabletop is very clearly what sounds like a computer system. So they have computer system fans going on here. Yeah, I'm not getting the code. Maybe I gotta check the spam. Ah, I got it. I got the code. Let's see if I still have time. Yes, I do. Check your spam, guys. It'll come from a bracket Zendure, and it says confirm your registration. All right, so I'm registered. Now with my login. Oh, I just heard the, I would just use my email address and my password and log in. And of course, okay, logged in. This is what it looks like. As you can see, there are no devices. I'm gonna click add device, and there's basically only two. There's the Pro 2000 and then the Pro 1500. I'm gonna do the 1500 because this is what I have. And it says, please turn on the SuperBase 1500 device on manual, ensure the battery is showing at least not 5%. Yep, click next. And it says right here, press the Wi-Fi button, reset as shown in the figure below, press and hold for 3 seconds. So I'm gonna hold for 3 seconds, so I'll hear a beep, 1, 2, and 3. I will see you later. I guess I'll get my cell phone later. Until you hear a beep, and then go to reset button indicator light and make sure the Wi-Fi light is flashing. Yeah, I do see it. See this down here? This little thing down there is flashing. Okay, and then I have read the buzzer and see the Wi-Fi. I click next, next step. Now I gotta enter in my Wi-Fi password. It's just gonna connect to the one that my phone is connected to. So I click next, turn on the mobile. I gotta then go over to select settings, Wi-Fi, choose the SuperBase Pro. This time, mine is the 197, connect there. Once it's connected, I go back into the app and it will transfer the password information to it. This is all very basic information that you basically have to do with any Internet of Things device nowadays. It's basically the same functionality. Okay, so I'm gonna click next. Then it'll say, please wait while the device establishes a network connection. So I can see it's doing all sorts of things over here. And we are at 0%. Let's see how long that takes. iPhone failed. I'm going to try an Android device now. Sometimes that's what it takes. So I have just loaded it on my Galaxy S21 Ultra. And I'm logging in, and I hope if I can get this through, then at least I have one way to connect to this remotely. So now I'm doing the same exact thing again so far. Same thing, add device, SuperBase Pro. Same exact thing. Next step, I gotta do the reset Wi-Fi again. Hold it down for 3 seconds. Okay, let go. Heard the buzzer. It's linking. Wi-Fi is searching, it's configuring. Scan successful. Let's connect to my home internet. Putting that information in. And then I got to switch over to SuperBase Pro 1500 on the Wi-Fi, which is still the 197. Same thing here. I got to connect to that first. Okay, it'll connect. And then I got to switch back to the app, and hopefully it transmits that information over. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. Next step. Aha! So look at that. Maybe they're having a problem with the iOS app or with my iPhone. But obviously, it is working now. And I'm really sorry if you only have an iPhone and you can't get it to work. Hopefully you get a buddy that has an Android device, or just get any old cheap Android device, and then you can then connect to it. But pretty much all I want to know and see is after I get connected to it, what functionality we get remotely, and also if there's going to be some sort of firmware update that might solve some weird issues or some weird bugs with it. Keep in mind it is basically a running computer. One other thing I really want to know is whether or not any of this stuff and the IoT stuff and the 4G, like how much of a toll that takes on the battery pack itself. Now, when I had the Blue Yeti, I believe it is the AC200, I found that just leaving it on consumed quite a lot of power. Oh no. Pairing failed again. It went up, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So I'm going to try it one more time. Let's see what we get here. I'm going to do this reset, the reset again. Okay, it beeped. Click next step. I've heard the buzzer. Yada yada. Configure the Wi-Fi again. Connect to the Wi-Fi. We're going to put this information in again. Now I know my password for the internet. I pop that in there again. And then I got to switch back to the SuperBase Pro. It's got to connect to it. Every time you got to do that. Current network. Okay. Once that is connected, I'm going to switch back, confirm that it is connected, and it will let me go to the next step. Let's see if this actually happens here. Maybe what happened was I switched over too quickly and didn't confirm that I still wanted to connect to it, because it said, oh, here we go. Great. So I think the first time with the Android device was that it didn't, first time it switched over and it asked me if I wanted to stay connected to it because it didn't have internet access, and I was supposed to say yes. So maybe that was what was going on with the Android one. Then next thing it asked me is, what do I want to call it? And I'm going to call it the Super 1500, just because. And then I'll click finish. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Successful operation. It says 4G, but let's see what we got going on here. There's my serial number. Time until full is 40 minutes. I'm charging at 514 watts in now because we are closing in on the 100% mark. DC has 0 watts going in. That's because I could do both AC and DC charge at the same time for a whopping super fast charge rate, but I don't have that going on right now. DC 0 watts going out, AC 0 watts going out, and 40 watts full. And then I have an AC on-off switch. So let's see if it makes a beep when I do that. Yep, it makes a beep. So if I turn on the AC, or if I turn off the AC, I could do this remotely from anywhere. There are some other icons and settings up here. Apparently there's a sleep mode. Wait, let me see if I can touch that. Nope, that doesn't do anything. The grayed out parts serve no function. I think they're just status. I think this just reflects what status is going on the unit itself to let you know what's happening over there. And I don't know why it's grayed out because the fan is definitely on, but I'm going to see what other settings I have here. So if I click the settings, these are the things I get. There's my serial number, my network settings, screen standby time. And I think 30 seconds is too short. So I'm going to switch that over to 5 minutes. It beeps, automatic shutdown time. So you can have it automatically shut down the unit. I guess we'll need some more specific instruction about that. That could be automatic shutdown in case there's nothing going on with the system. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in at 2 hours. Sounds, I like that you can turn that on and off. Okay. So yeah, you can configure that. So I don't like the beeping, but you know what? If I'm accessing this remotely and I have this somewhere else, that could be a good idea. Temperature unit, centigrade Fahrenheit, device sharing. Okay, looks like I can share access to the device to someone else. Interesting. So you can share the use and access to the Pro 1500 to someone else. I guess that could be pretty useful when you're out on a trip. Okay. Firmware update, very important. Let's see what's going on here. Current version. That's the current version as of 2022 531, and that is the latest version. These are both the latest firmwares. It's good because, you know, that just means that I have the latest version. And here's some device information, serial number, IMEI number, all this jazz all in here, and a SIM card and everything. Now they give me access to 1 year of remote access to this device for free. I think every succeeding year after that is $99. At least that's what they said. Of course, stuff like this is always subject to change at some point in time. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't see anything else that you can do on here. But that's it. That's pretty much it. Doesn't look like I can configure any other settings. It'd be nice if this has a built-in user manual or links to some things in case I give access to someone. They need to know what any of these things does. That would have been cool and nice to know. And it would have been interesting to know if these were supposed to function in any way, because right now it doesn't function other than some status lights that don't exactly match what's going on anyway. But I do like this. Tells me at a glance what's going on. It's not the best interface that I would have chosen, but hey, it functions, it works. I see I have 530 watts going in from the AC jack, 96% full, and it will take me 35 minutes before I'm completely at 100%. So I have an update. After it's connected, I connected onto, of course, the iPhone app. And on the bottom here, I see that there is some other functionality that I didn't see earlier, so I thought I'd go over some of these. On the bottom here, besides the AC and DC function, and I think this is just a user interface issue. With the Android app, I had to scroll down, and with the iPhone, it shows up correctly on here. I have AC on or DC on, switches both over here. We have some additional functions on here. One is a quiet charging mode, which caps it at 300 watts, which makes it so the fan doesn't go crazy. So I could do that. Then it'll cap at 300 watts of charging from AC power. And then the amp up mode is for when you really need to power up in terms of the wattage by lowering the voltage. So in a case like this, if you really needed to power on like a hairdryer or a heater or something like that, it would lower the voltage but still allow it to run. And that is the amp up mode. You're not going to want to use the amp up mode on anything electronics related like computers, for instance, or anything with IC chips. So I'm going to leave that off because I typically don't need over 2,000 watts at a time. The light allows you to choose between different accent colors. For the bottom, it defaults as green, but you can pick any of these colors over here, and also the brightness. So this can function, I suppose, just as a night light if you choose white, and it would just light up the whole bottom of the unit, and you can turn whether or not that's on or off. So it could function kind of like a little night light. Finally, over here, we have the position, and I found this to be inaccurate. This is where you use the built-in 4G LTE connection to figure out where it is that you are, or where your battery pack's located. And mine is located really far away from me, which is not true. You see that red mark over there? That's where I'm at, and this is where it thinks it's at. And that's because it is using cellular triangulation. I don't believe there's a GPS chip in here. Maybe there is. Maybe I need to take it outside. Maybe it just needs to be able to connect to more signals. But I have really poor reception here, so that could be why it's completely way off. So this thinks it is miles away from me, which is completely not true. And there is a message function which doesn't do anything. I don't know. Maybe in the future on a different product, you'll be able to send messages to it back and forth. And then finally, there's a diagnostic data section, which is kind of interesting because this allows you to access stuff that is typically only for engineers. So that is cool. So you can kind of see the stats, the real world stats of what you're using. This is good, very good for diagnostics. And I'm really happy that they open this up for end users to go ahead and see what's going on. So you can see the battery level, input, output, over the day, the week, the month, or the year, and how much power you brought in, how much power is taken out, etc. It's all here. Operational data. I like that. Now, I don't know how far or how long this tracks or logs or the data, the amount of memories in here. That'd be pretty cool information to know, but I think that's pretty awesome that they provide that in the app. Again, as the iOS version, I did have problems connecting to it earlier, but after I connected this onto the Wi-Fi at the house, then, you know, it worked. I had to use an Android phone to go ahead and do it. Hopefully you don't have that problem. Hopefully that problem was just because my iPhone's been acting weird lately. Hopefully that's the case. All right, anyways, that's just basically what I wanted to share. Definitely give it props for a better app than I thought it was going to be after I was able to connect to it. Okay, so that's just a quick first look, unboxing and impressions of the SuperBase Pro 1500. I hope you found this useful to you in some sort of way. I'm pretty pumped about this. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to use all the capabilities of this unit given the setup that I have anyway. And my understanding is that you can pump in so much volts into this using these adapters that basically if you have a PV system set up and you have, let's say you got a 72 volt, or I'm sorry, 72 volt, 60 volt system coming in, the better. And I will test out the solar a little bit later. I'm going to do that in a separate video. This video is long enough already. Okay, that's it for this video. Please give it a like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you next one. Thank you for watching.